Weekly means twice a week or once every other week. Bi-monthly, twice a month or once every other month. Biannually, while fancier than the other two, has that same obnoxious ambiguity about it. And it's by far the worst of the three, because the margin of error when you use it is 18 months. 18 months. That's like the difference between purchasing a morning after pill and purchasing tiny Chuck Taylors. How is this allowed to happen? Somebody needs to be fired. But it's not all bywords. The only other byword I can think of that means two completely different things at the same time is bipolar. Which gets a pass. Because I've dated one of those, and quite frankly, they're frightening. I mean, being bilingual doesn't mean that you either speak two languages or you only speak half of a made-up language. Like Pig Latin or French. Being bisexual doesn't mean that you're into chicks and dudes or that you're only interested in masturbating to pictures of you masturbating. If you were assaulted by Mr. Peanut, you wouldn't describe your assailant to the police sketch artist as a dapper, cane-wielding, 8-foot nut monster in bifocals. A bicycle isn't a healthy alternative transportation mode and a vehicle that will get you laid. Bifrost the Rainbow Bridge isn't just the mythical entrance to Asgard and a super complicated group gay sex move. Actually, I'm not 100% on that. It could be. Need to do a little research. Biosphere was a terrible movie. I think it's pretty important that you know yourself. So recently I took a personal inventory of myself. And what I discovered was something hitherto unknown about my mustache. Not that mustaches are awesome. That's a scientific fact. Plenty of history to back that up. And you got Teddy Roosevelt. Magnum PI. That guy from that Parks show. I was talking about my mustache. See, I was under the impression, on pretty good authority because it is my mustache, that I had grown it as an aesthetic choice, but it turns out that it's quite compensatory. Because it turns out that I'm a pretty sad excuse for a man. On paper, I'm not a good man. Let's go over the facts. I don't own any power tools. It's impossible for me to get into professional sports. I know nothing about cars. I'm not addicted to porn. I find fishing to be a shameful waste of beer. My wife, she claims to like the fact that I'm not a stereotypical male. That is until something goes wrong with the car and then she can't stand it. I wish I was like Han Solo. I wish I could work on the vehicle while going at breakneck speeds. But I'm useless if it's sitting completely still in a well-lit garage. I know a lot of guys will say, at least I can at least change the oil. I I do that all the time. But it's not exactly a hard process, is it? Looking up the nearest Jiffy Lube on Google Maps, sitting in a waiting room, drinking shitty coffee, and reading magazines you're not into. It's unpleasant, but I'd hardly call it work. I always feel like I'm part of an unforeseen or intentionally left out demographic when I look at the reading materials in the waiting room. It's always Red Book, Better Homes and Gardens, Cosmopolitan. Every once in a while there's a Sports Illustrated in there, but it's never the swimsuit issue, so it's useless to me. If you pick up a highlights, everybody brings their kids a little closer. Every once in a while you luck out and there's a hunting mag in the mix, which is cool because I'll flip to the back to the crossbow section. Like, that's badass. That's badass. You can kill a lot of orcs or zombies with one of those. When it comes down to it, I don't really have any desire to kill anything that actually exists. But I love pretending to kill things in Dungeons and Dragons. A game where on paper, I'm a pretty kick-ass dude. As you can probably tell, I'm not the breadwinner. Luckily, my wife is an amazingly talented graphic designer, and she has and will always make more money than me. Which makes me kind of her trophy husband. But let's face it, I'm only 9 months younger, I've got English teeth, I've dropped out of college more times than I've enrolled. I'm really more of a participation ribbon husband. Or if it is a trophy, it's one of those like backward compliment trophies, like most improved player. We've been married for 2.5 years, going on 3. For those of you who are unwed, spoiler alert, marriage is frustrating. And I'm not just talking about the fact that we've reached that point in our relationship where she gets super angry when I talk. I'm talking about a whole different kind of frustration. You see, men have certain needs, and this is delicate because my wife's involved, so I don't want to be crude here. So let's just say, it always feels like I'm starving. And she's the only one who knows how to make pizza. Now, I'm not actually starving because I can always make some ramen. I make ramen all the time. The thing is that ramen is a really sad alternative to pizza. I mean, you can only spice ramen up so much. It's gotten to the point where the only real fun I have making ramen is stealthily making ramen in the other room. She's going about her day blithely unaware that 15 feet away, separated only by a few layers of drywall and shame, I'm furiously making ramen. When it comes down to it, you just usually make ramen in the shower. For the sake of time, and you don't have to wash any dishes afterwards. It's hard because you tend to see pizza everywhere. It's like the beginning of the Ninja Turtles movie where The first 15 minutes is everyone in New York eating pizza. There's pizza in movies, there's pizza on TV. The internet is a virtual pizza party. And you try not to notice other women's pizza ingredients. With the clothing styles these days, you can basically make out their pepperonis, their anchovies. Sometimes they print words right over their bell peppers. And that's frustrating because years ago I decided to be a brand loyalist. Always DiGiorno, never delivered it. I am only going to eat her pizza, and that's great because she makes great pizza. Only thing is, we don't have pizza as often as we used to. We first got together, it was pizza every day. All 3 meals. Sometimes we just stay indoors and have deep dish Chicago-style slices. Supreme, meat lovers, cheese-filled crust, the occasional calzone. But now I go and I look in the freezer and there ain't even pizza rolls or bagel bites. Now the only time that we really have pizza is when we both get really drunk. And the only way that we can even tell is we wake up and there are crumbs everywhere. She turns to me and she's like, "Was that even good pizza?" I think so, I've got pesto in my beard. The saddest thing about this entire scenario is I always wake up hungry. But there's never any left to warm up for lunch. So I do what anyone would do in that situation. I roll over and make some ramen. Thank you, everybody. You have been a wonderful audience. Thanks for coming out and supporting this show. And remember, this happens every month. There's great comedy here. Support local comedy. It's amazing that we have it here in Topeka. Otherwise, I wouldn't have ever gotten on stage and told a joke. So. Come on, support these guys. Everybody have a good night.